It's all about who you know. Even if you have a record, if you know the right person that can get you in the door, guess what? You're going to get in the door. The same thing with our young people. If they are networking through volunteering, they're learning the soft skills, and we are positioning them to walk right into the door for a great opportunity, and a lot of times a job.
Okay. Mrs. Knowles, thank you. How can we help our black males get those soft skills and prepare themselves for the workforce? Yes, ma'am.
I'm very uncomfortable with the expert label we got when we sat down up here. How about that, Susie Lottie? Anyway, I do live next door at Lifelong Learning at least 8 hours a day or more, and we do have so many young black men that are going back to school, which is very, very, very encouraging, and trying to get their GED or high school diploma. But those soft skills are definitely what's lacking. And I really admire your idea. I don't know how much more we can load on the schools, folks, and maybe you think that I'm wimping out on this, but the schools have been given so much more, and I know that you remember when those of us who are older were growing up, our parents taught us manners, our parents taught us character, and now we have to teach those things in our schools, and I agree that we do need to teach those, but I don't know how much of the soft skills stuff we can just pass on to the school. As parents, we've got to take that responsibility. And as grandparents, to insist on some of those proper behaviors that are appropriate with other people.
Yes, sir.
Running the microphone.
Yes, sir.
Can't talk on the microphone. But, basically, I want to look at the question that David asked us. They said, what can we do as a community to improve the soft skills? And everything that I heard the panel say, and I heard the previous panel say, we talking about, okay, you. Everything we know that it starts with the panel. But I want to focus on this community thing, because brother asked the question, okay, we know the problem, what can we do? The thing to me is, if the community going to do this, first of all, the community, especially the Afro-American community, got to come together. The thing is, if we don't come together, we'll come to forums, we'll come to committees, but we don't come together and say, this is the problem. Everybody knows the problem. Let's come together and work on the solution. And I'm saying this because I run an upstate fatherhood coalition. We work with you. We done served over 1,000-something in since 2000. Ask me how many black male mentors that we got. 5, 6. All our men are men. All our participants are black men. The community don't want to come together to address the issue. The problem is the community got to do is come together as a community and say, let's address these issues. And I know back in the day, and I even 35. Back in the day, we used to come to form churches like this and come together, let's address this issue. I know for a fact, there's people in this room, people on this panel, people that we know, can hire a black man if they wanted to. But ain't nobody coming together and say, how we gonna do it? And I'm sorry if I'm taking it away from you, but for I see it every day. On an average, we serve over 100 men a day. And when we go out, like Rico was up here earlier, when he go out there, you can talk to David, and we understand the policy. But I also know some people that's entrepreneurs. But man, I want to give them a chance. Somebody gave you a chance. We as a community need to come together and say, look, this is a problem. We know the problem. Let's come up with a solution. And that's how the community is going to improve on these soft skills. Because once you teach them soft skills, I understand our kids. But our parents need it before we teach our kids.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry.
Can I follow on?
Yes, sure.
I'll give you a story. We was involved with Martin Luther King March, one of the Martin Luther King holiday. And a couple of us got together and said, it is a symbolic. That's all it is. The holiday is symbolic. What can we do to bring forth this community? Well, a group of us got together and we decided, well, beyond differences, we cater towards mentoring and cultivating youth. But ST came together and he says, you know, I'm going to start Economic Development Institute. And over the last 5 years, everyone else has attempted to undermine or go their own way. And we spend so much time talking about the external instead of focusing on the internal. See, it doesn't matter to me what someone else is doing, but what does matter to me is what we're doing. We get criticized beyond different because we have a standard. You have to have a 3.5 GPA average to be part of Beyond Diversity Youth Organization. And it's very important because we mentor them to go back into other areas to bring other kids up. But it's amazing when you look at the figures out here, $784 million worth of construction, and only 3.6 million went into black contractors. In Greenville. Also, when you look at the bricklayers, masons, no skills, but you have an institute sitting over there, and we're not utilizing the very thing that was created for. How many of you all, what is 103.3 FM? Let's be serious. Dave, you heard 103.3 FM from 9 o'clock on Sunday night to 10:30. That's a youth radio program designed and made by you. The Holy Ground. We got 3 initiatives for the Afro-American churches, and not one church. We have 5 white churches involved in 3 programs to change the attitude and behaviors of young people. And so I would like to come to these forums because, you know, we have to get real with ourselves. Either we're going to deal with internal problems and deal, you know, for example, with the Stockbridge Road Community Center. So you have Beyond Differences and the YMCA being known who's going to go and run that center. So naturally, if the playing field is not level, we're out of the pocket, right? But is there not an opportunity where you're going to cultivate a geographical area into moving where they are, where they need to be? And that's the conversation we need to start having is, we support the organization within our own community. We talking about infrastructure, and y'all talking about, well, there's no one on their board. You know, it's hard for Beyond Difference to get someone on the board, just like it's hard for sometimes for ST to get the necessary money. A local entity gave X amount of money for one to buy a table to support the Economic Institute, but yet we support that organization all the time.
Mr. Guy, when we think about those soft skills that you work on in Beyond Difference, we understand that your group focus on certain segment of young people, 3.5 right, as well. But the point, you have a designated group of people where you train them to be mentors, there you go, and they go back into the community. They create their own initiative to reach someone that is less. So, you know, we have 6 kids called in the We Teach program. People don't realize 197 individuals or youth has gone through our program, and 193 have graduated or graduated in college. All right. Of that 193, 50-something already retained their bachelor's degree, and 8 of them on their master's degree, and 3 of them working on their doctorate. Right. But you see them in Greenville, you know, we got 25% of our kids leaving Greenville from my program, we're never going back. Absolutely. Absolutely. Mr. Fleming, Reverend Fleming, sorry.
Mr. Mitchell, I think that we can say this about and talk about our problems day in and day out. But until we start looking at the root cause of the problems, we're not going to fix anything. I think if we all would agree that we have been tampered with, our psychohistory has been messed with, psychologically we have been tampered with to believe or to think something, a certain thing. A lot of us think the cure to it is religion. Some of us think the cure to it is money. No, let's identify what the real problems are, and let's try and work from there. In Greenville, South Carolina, the biggest hindrance with black folk moving forward is not black folk. The biggest hindrance is still white folk keeping black folk from moving forward. whether it's the educational system where you got 90% of teachers are all white. Well, now, if my child is going to deal with white folk and white problems, then what's my child going to turn out to be? How is he or she going to relate to me where I want to give him or her to? We must change the system. And when I say change the system, then we must play equal part in that system if we're expecting or wanting something in our favor for our children. Number one point, the problem's out. I say to you again, it may not be important. Anybody out here to say that 90% of all our teachers are white. That may not be important to you. But when you got 32% black racial population in the school system, and they don't see anybody who looks like me, no one that has a degree like me, no one who owns a business like me, then what is my child to believe? Let's look at the problem of what's going on with us.
And that becomes the issue. We'll get to the question in a few minutes, but and I appreciate your point and your perspective. But it's how we get there and presenting ourselves and putting ourselves in position so where there's not teachers that look like African American males are not there, then we put ourselves in the schools. We got organizations here. We got Macy's. We got Vegas. We got CAP. We got AFT. We got so many organizations where we can be in the schools and present ourselves. We got black ministers throughout this county. So that's an opportunity for us to present that, because what I need to understand is, we even ask this simple question: what do we do? Because anyone that comes to my office looking for an opportunity for work, and they don't have those soft skills. When you walk in my office, and in the first 5 minutes, I've already decided I'm not going to hire you because of your lack of soft skills, because of your lack of inability to give a firm handshake. Or if you come to my office with tattoos all over your neck with your name on it, like you know, you got your name, or smelling like yesterday, or your pants hanging down, I can't help you. Okay, all I can do is give you some advice on how to come back to my office the next time, because you cannot put your name on the application dressed like that. So I have to give that level of interaction with young people, both male and females. I've had some young ladies come there, and I don't know what corner they came off or look like they came off. You cannot put an application in my office dressed like that, because that's not the skill. But we make sure we educate them before they leave. So when you come back tomorrow, you have at least a dress shirt on, some nice shoes, and your pants on with a belt. So that's what we have to do. I do that in my office, I'm sure Amy does that in hers, and that's what you have to do in the community, because where there's a lack of teachers, professionals to teach them, we have to step up to the plate.
I was going to be Ava does a marvelous job in what she does. And when she's talking about youth business literacy, that is one of the most important aspects that we can teach our kids. And I'll give you an example. We have a couple of kids that attend band. Well, they are, if you look at them and say, well, they are just bookworms, right? But they are actually pretty active in basketball and sports, you know. But when they go to Brutaltown and Mount Pleasant, they always are dressed neatly, belt, pants, and so forth. And we just did a demonstration. They came like 3 or 4 weeks in a row. And all of a sudden, the 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, who had their pants hanging down, started changing their attitude, started changing the way they dress, you know. And that's what I'm talking about. It's the simple thing that we can take a group of kids, cultivate them and nurture them as going back into the community and changing attitudes. So when Johnny talked about we change the system from within, you know, most times we fight from the outside. But I truly believe that we can put a group of kids in a horse and let them out, and we'll change the whole nature of the system.
Okay, I know the audience want to get the questions. We're going to get the audience questions in just a second. But I do want the panel to answer 2 more questions then. This is good. So if y'all let me leeway, just make the panel get the 2 questions to the panel. Let them answer those, then we'll get the audience opportunity to interact, because you have input. It's just me.
Okay. I think we've got to look at that even one step further, and that is at the breakdown of the family throughout our country. God created us as families, I believe, and that breakdown has caused a huge, huge problem for our young people. And when you think of all the things that you and I have done for our own children to teach them, and so many single moms are having a really hard time doing that, we've got to have more support for them, and the mentoring is exactly what we need, and we need our churches all to step up to the plate on this, because that's another place that we've had huge breakdown in our society, and we are definitely paying a price for that.
David, can I just say one quick thing? I do a lot of diversity training. I've done about 500 sessions since 2005, and I see the demographics and I see the statistics, and it probably doesn't surprise you, but we're down now to less than 25% of our population representing the traditional household with mom, dad, and kids. It's like a smidgen below 25%. The other thing, traditional means it's mom and dad married with their own biological children in the home. Yeah, okay. And so, but the other thing, and everybody in the room that knows me know that I'm professional, but I'll keep it real. We talk about the grandmothers. Let's put a label on that too. There's statistics. The grandmothers of yesterday are gone. The new grandmother is 30 years old, just as uneducated as her children, and they need to be embraced and mentored and taught etiquette and soft skills as well. They're going around calling themselves G-mommy and this and that, and so it's a generational impact. And so, yes, we do talk about the youth, but 30 years old is kind of young as well. And so we need to not look at even the labels we give, like grandmothers and this and that. We have to understand that the face of the nation has changed, and we have to respond accordingly to it.
Okay. All right, I want to move on to our next question, and then I want Ava to answer this question as well as Reverend Fleming as it relates to affirmative action. Then I'm going to skip the last question. I really think there's a good dialogue that comes from the audience. I look at the audience and see a lot of familiar faces, and I know they have some great input as well to assist in this dialogue. I just want this to be a community dialogue as we go forward. So, affirmative action is an effort to develop a systematic approach to eliminate the current and lingering effects of prior discrimination. It is race and sex conscious efforts to achieve the equal opportunity employment for race and sex groups in the workforce. Affirmative action has been upheld in the United States Supreme Court as a permissible method to reach the goal of fair employment, and is not a quota system. Affirmative action is a voluntary and is not required by any law. Keep that in mind. A lot of folks think it's required by law, but it's not. What is required by each state agency or college and university is to submit an affirmative action plan. That is a document that says you want to do based on what our objectives are for that organization. They have to submit that to SHAC, or the South Carolina Human Affairs Commission. So only state and government agencies have to submit an affirmative action plan. Private companies do not have to adhere to an affirmative action plan. Keep that in mind. A lot of folks come off as well, they're not hiring enough black folks, they're not hiring enough Hispanic folks. They don't have to, okay? They don't have to, not by state law. They're a federal or state government agency. They do have to have an objective plan to follow. Not quotas, but an objective plan to follow. So don't come tell me BMW doesn't have enough black folks, because they don't have to. They're a private industry, okay? So with that question, I want to make sure I was clear on that from an HR perspective. With that question, what provisions are available to improve race relations and diversity in the workforce for black males in Greenville County? Share with us, Ava and then.
Well, as you said, there's nothing legal that binds them. Let's just put that out on the table. But I want to be optimistic as well. There are a lot of corporations that still take on the mission of what the affirmative action plan was designed to do. It was not designed to do quotas like everybody thinks. It is basically saying, here's our demographic of where our company is located. When we look at our demographics, we have X percentage of whites, X percentage of blacks, Hispanics, and so forth. We're going to put forth a best case effort to make sure that our workforce mirrors our surrounding demographic. And all they have to do is say, even to the government, the ones that are required to do it, we're going to try. And that's it. So you still have corporations that have that intent because they do want to have a diverse workforce. So technically there is no provision, but here's how we can maximize the subject at hand when it comes to the black males that are unemployed. When they are sitting down and they're coming up with their diversity initiatives, they're looking at things in terms of race, age, and gender. But the timing of this is so wonderful because somewhere in the neighborhood of October, and I think I got a fellow HR person in the room that can validate this, EEOC finally passed the law that says that companies have to legally look at the crime compared to the job that the person is applying for and make sure that if they don't hire them based on that, that it is a justified denial. Okay, so I'm an HR person and I'm right down the middle. Ex-gang member from New Jersey, been there, done that. By the grace of God, I'm on the right track. But guess what? I have a business to run and I have clients like he described and we have to go by policy. So this is the way that I address it and this is the suggestion I have for everybody that cares. I have to give the same dialogue. Unfortunately, this is what my client is saying. Or if I'm having a private conversation with someone that's not through my company, it's about educating our people. My people perish for a lack of knowledge. I will sit down and explain those laws to them. So they didn't give you the job, or they didn't do this and that. Well, you might want to go back and ask questions. I applied for this job and it calls for these things. And what I did in my past 12 years ago has absolutely nothing to do with the essential functions of the job. Can you explain to me how I was denied? A lot of times when you present yourself to an HR person or a hiring manager and they know that you know your rights, now they've gone from protecting the company in the sense of not bringing you in to protecting the company by bringing you in because they don't want that discrimination lawsuit. So the thought of HR people right now, it is a hot topic. I'm on the board for GSHRM, which is the Greenville chapter of Society for Human Resource Management. They have a whole committee talking about this as we speak. This is our initiative that we are embracing. We need to find a way to bring these individuals in that have criminal backgrounds, make sure we don't discriminate, but take care of this piece of our affirmative action mission so that we can reach that demographic group. So when we talk about solutions, number one, go online, educate yourself on what that law looks like so you don't misinform someone. But once you understand it, start educating the same people that we're talking about. Let them know. Make a suggestion. Yes, I did. Yes, we'll explain. And when it's time to explain, sir, that was 11 years ago and it's not really related to the job. Here's my background, this is what I can do, and when you come across as being educated, knowing your rights, not in a forceful way that you feel like you're threatening them, but just articulate your knowledge about what this new law is saying, and I'm optimistic that it's going to increase the chances, and hopefully that'll translate to people like David and myself, because then our clients will understand the scope and how they can bring those people in, and hopefully they'll be more lenient with us of who we can present to them, because until they do, our hands are tied. So in answer to the question, there is no law. Just get that out your mind. There are no quotas. Get that out your mind. We need to quickly educate the black males, black females that have these convictions, so that as a community we can start approaching these HR people, these corporations, and saying, we understand our rights and we will act on it.
Dave, as I hear that what you're saying, the young lady saying here is that the business world is looking for people who has conformed to a system, is looking for conformity. I think our problem is that there's a difference in a thoroughbred and a jackass, and all of our children have all of this energy that's bursting, just running over with it. And I think that we need some guidance as to what is going on in us and with us. When I walk into a job, or someone comes looking for a job, for me, there are certain things I look for. My youngest son, who's working on his doctorate now, was in the school system here, and there was a black principal who wouldn't hire him because he had dreadlocks. Okay, what do you mean wouldn't hire him? We got a lawsuit with the school district now because he won't hire him because he has dreadlocks. That's not white on black, that's black on black. I think, again, we have to change our approach. We need to create and own our own jobs. Our biggest problem is we're looking for somebody else to manufacture jobs for us, when we ought to start manufacturing our own jobs and hiring our own children, raising our own money and rearing our own children, and then we can begin to move up the ladder. But as long as we're waiting for some, I don't care what group we are, I don't care where we are, what job you're looking for. If there's white folk here and there are black folk there, white folk gonna be in charge. If they live near your house, they come to your meeting, 99% of your meeting, they're gonna be in charge. Our problem is that we give all of our authority away. The reason that we can't move up the road any farther because we've given that authority to other folk. And my God, don't let them be white. We just hand it over to them. Now, there is no law to make anybody do any harm. No law for it, no quotas out there for it. So what does that say to us? Our foreparents done more with less than we're doing with much.
Right.
So there's something wrong with what we're doing. We've come to a place now where we want somebody to give us something. Hell, don't nobody owe you nothing. Create your own job, rear your own children.
I have to respond to that. I want to just clarify that I'm not suggesting that anybody conform. For the people that know me in the room, I'm the most non-conforming person that you have met. Amen?
Oh, wait a minute. No, wait a minute. Don't start that with me. Everybody in here.
No. I'm just clarifying what I'm communicating.
Listen, if the sister got a job in Greenville County, she conformed to the will and the wishes of that white man to get that job. If you got a job in Greenville County, you have conformed to the wishes of the person who owns that job.
Let me say this too. It's not necessarily conforming to white man on the job. It's policies and procedures. It's the culture of the organization.
Who controls that?
Well, I mean, who's in charge? If the VP, now I've been in organizations where the VP, my VP, was African American male. He still was conformed to the policies and procedures of the organization, the culture of the organization, or what have you. So that's what I'm saying to you is that if the culture say you don't come in to this organization with your pants hanging down and tattoos exposed, then that's the culture of the organization. Our policies and procedures don't allow that. So therefore you're not going to conform to our culture or environment. You cannot work here.
And that's the other point I was going to make is that I don't teach people to conform to give away their identity. Right. And not everybody is designed to be an entrepreneur. In order to have an economic system, somebody's got to be the boss and somebody has to do the job. For those that are designed to do the job, especially the ones that are not taught how to be professional, they don't have the soft skills, they have a background, we have to have a means of educating them, shaping them, molding them, preparing them, and that's what we're talking about today, is that sector, not the sector of the people, you know, that have those businesses, but the ones that are looking for jobs. That's an immediate concern, and I think that educating them on the proper way to get in those positions is what we're trying to accomplish.
Okay. Here's what we're going to do. Ms. Walker, I know we have to give you an opportunity to question that you kind of interact with the audience as well with some of your feedback. Mr. Guy, I want you to make a quick statement there. This audience is on fire. And I know they got some questions that they want to ask. I see about 4 or 5 hands up there. So kind of give us your comment, and we want to let the audience kind of get involved with this discussion as well. Okay?
For example, beyond different cross-cultural relational group, that means that our kids participate are multicultural kids, okay? But I think that what we have a disengagement or misunderstanding about the concept. We don't teach diversity. Very seldom use the word diversity. We teach access and inclusiveness, okay? And I think that's where we need to go in any conversation is the ability to access the system. And if we put kids out there who are qualified, they would access that system, they would change the system. But if y'all get bogged down on diversity, we just be on that. Diversity is a noun. Okay, inclusive is the verb. You know, access, we work towards access all the time. So you know, we don't get bogged down, and I learned this from the course. You know, we get bogged down, and when we talk about racism and this, that, we get bogged down, right? But you have to change the concept. That concept is access is the way to achieve equality.
Okay. All right. What I'd like to do is kind of just get some feedback from a couple audience, and let the panel, if you have a question to me, any panel member, I ask you, would you comment, just make a brief comment, and then get to your question. I know a lot of it's on your head, you heard a lot today, so you would do that for us, that help everyone get an opportunity to interject. Yes, sir.
I moved here and moved my family here from Michigan. Most people think about Michigan, they think about Detroit, Michigan. But there's another town in Michigan, it's the second largest city in the state. It's called Grand Rapids. It's a Republican city, much like Greenville, South Carolina. The population is pretty much the same. The number of African Americans is double here. It's 18% here, it's 9% in Grand Rapids, Michigan. 5 years of research is what it took for me and my family to decide to come to Greenville, South Carolina. Now, when I got here, I saw that this community had gone from a textile community to a different type of community. Now, what makes that important in this conversation and in this forum that you're having here today is that the talented tenth of the people who run this city got together 15 years ago and said, we have these symptoms, which is what we're talking about here, symptoms, not solutions. We have these symptoms and we must cure these symptoms through a solution. And they planned and developed what I got attracted to leave Michigan to come here for. Your riverfront, your downtown, your businesses that they brought in from other countries and other cities and other states, all of that was a planned action by your talented tenth. There is a talented tenth in Greenville, South Carolina. I don't know who they are. In the black community, I don't know who they are. I don't know if they know who they are. I don't know if they are willing enough or trusting enough to want to know who each other are. To manifest a plan that will provide the solution to these problems and symptoms that we're talking about in this forum. But until that talented tenth gets together and decides to revolutionize this city and this community as the talented tenth did, who have revolutionized this city with regards to the infrastructure that is now present, then we will continue to twiddle our thumbs and sit in seats like these.
Okay. All right, real quick, just a question, answer your question. 30% of that talented tenth is in this room. We just disjoined to answer your question. They are here. Yeah. Next question. I'll answer your question on the side while I got you down too.
My name is Stephen Paul Dansol, Director of ABC International Education Consultancy. That's been in 1993. I was born in the Caribbean, but I lived in London for 10 years, and I've been 14 years, and I've been here for 10 years. And on the soft skills, I'm an educator by profession. I've taught at USC upstate as a professor. But I've lived in Caribbean, Africa, England, and here, and I concur heartily with what you're saying. The black population is the most oppressed I've come across in all my travels, and we need to find the causes of that. The second is we have to be proactive. On the 21st, one of my students is lecturing, giving a paper in Charleston. It's an international conference. I told my church members that there's a good place to network. Come to Charleston International, bring the young people along, and they can network. And at the end of the service, no one came. But I'm still pushing because I've set up a think tank for young people. 2 weeks ago, I had a 22-year-old working with me to give them the soft skills, listening, speaking. And by the way, the issue is diversity, yes. Inclusion, yes. We cannot sort of take any ultimate. But we've got to expose the young people. I'm finished. I've gone too far. But we have to expose the young people a whole lot of experiences. And that's the key. And that's what I'm finding, because in 1 year's time, I'm training, mentoring, and coaching young people to take them to London, take them to the Caribbean, take them to Africa, to give them the experience. And I want to hook up with people who want that to happen to the young people. So we've got to be proactive, because there's a lot of work to be done.
Thank you. Go ahead.
We still talking about you. We still talking about you. If we get our grown folks, our parents, our people that they see in order first, and let the trickle down. Go down, and I'm looking at my dad, was an alcoholic, went in my life, when he was in my life. All he knew his whole life was moving furniture. I used to go to furniture with him when I was 14. But look at me now, I can't even live a couch. I look like I can. But he taught me more. He said, I don't want you to do this, son. I want you to get your education. I grew up in the hood. I don't know if y'all about that though. I grew up in City Heights. What? But I got a college degree, a 4-year college degree, and an all-white college at Morris Hill College in North Carolina. But I got a degree because my dad pushed me to get a degree. He didn't want me to follow the soft skills. He said, no, you need to know how to talk to these people because I don't. We need to get our adults and they hit it. Grandma 30, Grandma ain't got no soft skills. I'm sorry. She started being a parent at 15. So what are the soft skills? We still talk about you, but I'm not denying you. My whole professional career is dealing with you. But what I'm saying is, if we don't help you, let's help the adults first.
Absolutely.
That's the solution.
Yes, sir.
Hi, how you doing? My name is Santos, and I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination. But I do have one minor suggestion concerning resumes for young people, concerning hiring young people. I didn't work for Microsoft or Bill Gates, but I was a store manager at a restaurant, and I have been in the retail industry for a long time. And what I see a lot of is young people and older people that come in that don't even know how to put a resume together. They kind of throw something together, that don't understand how to conduct themselves in an interview. If you held a workshop somewhere where you would just teach them how to prepare a resume, give them some points of contacts where you have the resume now they can contact us, point of contact, and say, hey, I'm sending this off to you, give me some suggestions, see if I can improve upon it. And then more importantly is a workshop where you get to people that have hired people before in the past, sit down and actually do an interview with them so that they understand that if I'm going to work to apply rather for Microsoft, I might want to figure out what is Microsoft about, what is their mission statement, what is their mission statement. So when I sit down doing an interview, I can answer intelligently rather than just saying, I have a lot of people that have told me in the past, I need a job. When I ask them, why do you want to work for
And that's true, and places like Virginia College, other universities that primarily, Brown Mackie, that primarily deal with a large percentage of our demographic, they open up the doors for us as a community to come in, do mock interviews, look at resumes. Virginia College, Bradley Robinson did a plea, and he probably had 6 people in our entire community to respond. And that's just not, if we're talking about a solution, that's an immediate solution. We can look at resumes, help them practice, and help them be more positioned.
Absolutely.
I just would like everybody to see my face, because there is something that goes on here in Greenville every 3 months. I am the coordinator for Olivebranchproject, and it is for ex-felons, but it is also for the whole entire community. We go into community centers and we hold resume drives. We do soft skills. We have people just like Miss Martin. She came out. We actually go all around Greenville, tag all businesses everywhere. Even Mr. Mitchell has been on a resume drive. I work with Pastor Boyce, who is our great director here today. But we do soft skills. But we cannot get people in position to show up to volunteer. The children are not the problem. It is the mother. And that's why when we have these resume drives, it is open not only to the ex-felon, it is geared to teach ex-felons how to present themselves. But it is available for grandmama and granddaddy and even anybody in the community to come out and learn soft skills. I thank God that we've been in 4 community centers and we are about to go into another community center. And it is posted, it is in the newspapers, but we need forums like this for people to come together. If you have soft skills under your belt, come out and help someone, because your neighbor might not feel comfortable coming to somewhere and they don't know anybody, but you being there might make that difference. Learning how to type on a computer, learning how to put together a resume, and even putting that, having a old tore resume. We have people, we work with SC Works. We work with people that help put that resume together. So Unshackled Me is here in Greenville. Anybody that would like to come and be a part of it, we welcome you. It's not a black thing, it's not a white thing, it's a joint effort in helping everybody learn how to become employed. Because we have all diverse people coming to those resume drives that don't know how to put together a resume. They don't know what they should say. They don't know how to present themselves to a company to become employed. And they don't have to be an ex-felon. The last thing I'm going to be real brief. I heard what Pastor Freeman was saying about all of our teachers being white. But I gotta be a teacher too. Absolutely. Not black guys are not going to school to become educators. That's one reason why we don't have black teachers, because they're not going to school to become a teacher. But just because my son has a white teacher at school, he got a black teacher at home. Because I work with his teacher at school to find out what she's teaching him during the day, and mama's doing that at night. We have to stop, and I agree with what she said, we have to stop passing the buck to somebody else. I stay up to 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning doing math. My daddy was an educator. He was an algebra teacher, but the algebra that he did 30 years ago is not the algebra that they're doing today. So we got to become educated so we can educate somebody else.
Okay. All right. Guys, with your comments, because we do have a couple. Like and she'll make sure she's available for you, because they do have these workshops on a regular basis. But would you make a quick comment? Because I don't want to hate somebody walk out of the room and have an opportunity to ask a question of this panel or anyone else in the room. So make a quick comment, ask a question, and we'll go from there. There's nothing.
Does the community come to those things? Because so many times I, as lifelong learning representative, have gone to PTA meetings and all kinds of things, and 5 people show up.
Yeah.
And they ask all kinds of agencies to come to give out information. And I think people, I think that they truly are concerned about their children, and I think all of these things may be overwhelming. I don't know.
And to say, we do have some businesses that come out, and they do share the fact that they will hire. We also have community people from like HR, people that work in positions.
I mean, does the community,
And they
use
come
the resource?
They usually, we actually have some people employed in the school district. It works.
But people need to know that the school district will hire folks that have a record, and it is dealt with on an individual basis, and time is an element. Having had that record 5 or 10 years ago,
Right.
Huge deal.
Absolutely. All right, we got time to one more question.
Wait a minute.
I'll let you close up the panel. Any other question? Come to you, Reverend. Yes, ma'am.
I just have a quick question in regards to how are we advertising our resources to our communities. In the job that I'm in healthcare, and I service the Greenville population along with my coworker Maria for 11 years now. Now we're servicing and trying to improve the health outcomes of our seniors. What has worked for our company in the past, and over these past few years, being one of the #1 Medicaid managed care companies in the state, is that we consistently work grassroots. We consistently work with community leaders, work at events that our demographic or members or prospective members are located in. Not just one workshop or not just working at one event, but it was the consistency of trying to get that message out there, letting them know that we're here to help to improve their health outcomes. And I think that's one thing that I find lacking, that we might have this forum, but what's going to follow after that, and then after that, and then after that?
Right. And that's the next step of the Project, as well as many others who are in this room with our organizations and groups. Leo has done a great job, and Pastor Boyce has done a great job of stepping out here, but what we have to do is make sure if you're part of the organization, that message is being, particularly with that group as well, so all of us can work. We work very disjointly here in Greenville. Everybody got to have their own thing. Okay, this is mine. No, we can work together. There's a bunch of folk out down the floor. So let's work together to get the point. Reverend Clements.
Mr. Mitchell.
Yes, sir.
Listen, I applaud those mothers who have the time to tutor their children, to discipline and to work with them, but there are so many of our children that don't have that needs that. And when the young lady talking about the school district hiring, now listen, as the NAACP, we're gathering information on all of the schools that we have in Greenville County. We have so many schools with nothing but white faces, and none of our children see anybody black. And if you black and you don't think that make a difference with your child, all they see is somebody white all the time, nobody black, and you're going to encourage this black child to be successful, you're just harming on losing. You're lying to yourself. It affects your child. We need to do something about it. We need to be working a plan for ourselves, for our children, to save our own children. White folk are not going to save us. Do you know why black kids kill black kids? Do you know why black kids kill black kids? They've been taught to kill one another from slavery up. We've never been taught to kill anybody but black folk. Oh, I help you so much.
All right, man. Hey, we want to thank Mr. God, and then we'll just ask you the last one because we want to make sure we close out effective. Mr. God.
I think when you talk about moving forward as a group of people, we have to respect organization. In our community, we have a very small tolerance or very small level of respect for organization. I preach all the time. People have to stay in their own lanes, okay? If you're doing something, this is when you're talking about funding, this is what I'm getting. We're talking about funding, right? Once I went to the school with Spinks, right? And I asked Stewart for some money for a particular project, right? And he said, wow, why should I give you money? Because I gave this person some money, right? With the same attitude and way take, right? Because what we do, instead of being specific in how we solve some of our problems, everyone gets confused in this vacuum about only thing black folks want to do is come and talk and try to get some money for something, what they're doing, right? And that's how come I'm I'm not on the ST board. I got beyond difference, and I think that we have one of the greatest organizations in Greenville. But when it comes to economic development, and I make myself very clear, we got an institute, we need to support that institute. Those minority corporations has not signed up for ST of the institute. The membership is very important. And we need to start telling people, if you're part of the 90-Way Corporation, you're not part of ST, you're not really representing this community.
Thank you. Well, thank you, panel, for your expert input. You've done a wonderful job this afternoon. I want to thank the audience for your input and feedback. We have more to do. Did we solve all the problems? They know we just actually stated more of the problem. But the next step is the next step. Let's find the next step opportunities for us to start a resolution to some of these issues that we brought forward. We all know what the problem is. We can state the problem very well. The issue becomes how do we resolve some of these issues? And you heard some tidbits of how to do it, but it's going to take more than just the Olive Branch organization, Leo Ferguson. It's going to take all of us in this room. I'm looking at some faces I know who put some stuff together, sitting in this audience. And it's up to you guys to work together jointly instead of working disjointly, because the question is, how do we get the message out? How do we get the people, the masses, to this message? In order to get the masses to this message means that we have to work together, or what have you, in order to make that happen. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Leo Ferguson, Pastor Boyce, and they're going to close out. But I thank you for your input. Thank you, panel.
Let's give our moderator, our panel, 2 and 1 hand. Thank you so much. 2 things I'll say in closing. What we need from all of you to do is that if you interact with social media, just raise your hand. Facebook, YouTube. On the front of your bulletin is the channel for our forum today. It is youtube.com/Olivebranchforum. By 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, this entire video from today's forum will be posted. We want you to make it viral. Email it to everyone that you are in conversation with, that they may comment about things that are said in the forum, because it is important. Secondly, if you know anything about me, I have a passion for learning, and I love meeting new people. I learned a lot today. I've been in Greenville 10 years. And I still learned a lot, and I still have met some new people today. So my time is worthwhile today. And I hope that you have the same sentiments. How many of you learned a lot today? How many of you met some new people today? Thank you so much for coming. We're going to have our director, Mr. Leo Ferguson, make some final remarks. Let's give him a hand as he comes.
Thank you, and thank you all for coming. Thank all the panelists that shared information today. People who know me or know this organization, the Olive Branch, has been around for about 1.5 years now. We spent the first 1.5 years developing a concept as to which way we were going to go. One of the things that we said, and as what was brought forth today, was that there's a lot of talk about problems, and that we all know the problems. But the real answer is obviously creating the solutions. So the Olive Branch is going to use technology to do that. We don't have a membership organization. What we do is we're trying to take a look at this entire community. We're trying to find out where the expertise lies, and then bridge all that together and create what we call a strategic plan. And we're going to do that by creating a virtual village. Earlier panelists talked about how people come together and how we used to take care and how they were scared of the neighbors as they came home because we were a community. But a lot of our brain trust left the community. And so what we're attempting to do with the Olive Branch is to bring that community back together again through technology. So the information that you supply us today, and we have asked you all to supply information, is going to go into a network, and we will continue to communicate with you. And the next session here is May 16th. And in May 16th, we're going to have a follow-up, but it's going to be a different kind of a format. The format is not going to be geared towards articulation of the problem. What we're going to do is distill what came out of this meeting, and then ask some of the panelists or all the panelists back to provide solutions. But also, despite that, Mr. Guy said, how do we do it collectively? If somebody is doing something here, we need to create support for that person who's doing it, or that organization that's doing it. We don't need to recreate organizations. And that's why I said the Olive Branch is not about creating a new organization. It's creating a network that every one of us can facilitate so that we can make a move and to create a strategic plan. One final thing, and I'm through. If you don't think others create strategic plans, you're mistaken. Some of us might say that a strategic plan is being created by the Congress of the United States because they have an agenda that they're putting through, and because they're a minority and they have the resources, they get more of what they want than a lot of us do in our community. Right? I heard somebody talk about quotas a little while ago, and that's as if it were a bad thing. Well, name one other thing other than black folk that people do not monitor how successful they're going to be. A quota is nothing more than a number, a numerical representation of how well we're doing in all classes of the social economic groupings. But what do? As a group, we have bowed down to that. We said, okay, we don't want quotas, we want objectives. I lived in that. So we're going to have goals and objectives. And we went from goals and objectives to what? Nothing. Right? That's where we are today. With nothing. So what we need to do is start to create this strategic plan again so that all of us work together, that beyond differences in the NAACP and Urban League and all of them come together as one. I thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Hope to see you all on May 16th and God bless you.
Thank you all for coming. Thank the panel again. Before leaving today, please leave your survey on the table with our attendants. This long form will only take about 2 minutes to complete it. Please complete that before leaving today. Give yourself a hand for being here today. Thank you so much.